What do you do when your 4-year-old throws a temper tantrum? You're in the grocery store. Junior wants this lollipop. You say no, we have candy at home. So on and so forth. Junior throws himself down on the floor and starts screaming and crying and carrying on in order to get you to cave in and buy that lollipop, right? We've all seen it. We all know what a temper tantrum is. Now, if you're a good parent, you do not buy that lollipop. Why? Because if you do, you just taught Junior that temper tantrum will get them their way. And it'll happen again and again and again. Right? That's pretty common sense, basic logic about parenting. Reward bad behavior, and you will see bad behavior return again and again and again. This is what just happened at the University of Missouri. Due to alleged, and I repeat, alleged racial slurs. Because the fact is, we don't know who uttered said racial slurs. We don't know. Supposedly it was a drunken white guy in a pickup truck. No tag number, no truck description. There was a swastika smeared. Where's the photographs of that? You know, all in all, it really does not matter. And I will tell you why. Today, in this country, November 12th, 2015, there are laws in place, federally, statewide, nationwide, in our schools, in our places of employment, in our stores, everywhere you look, anywhere and everywhere, there are laws against discrimination. The fact is, discrimination is a thing of the past, legally and otherwise. I honestly cannot remember. I really cannot remember the last time I heard the N-word uttered in public. I really can't. The race card is now a tool. It's just a simple tool for people to get their way, to get special privileges, to get special treatment above and beyond others. And the core problem now is that leaders, like the president of the University of Missouri, took the cowardly way out and resigned. And the solution for this race card temper tantrum that is occurring over and over and over, now it's going on in Ithaca, and it will continue to go on. School after school, institution after institution, on the job, everywhere in America. It will continue to go on until the people of America have the courage to cut the race card. Stop honoring it. You have a protest leader that's going to go on a hunger strike? Let him. Let him go on his hunger strike. Believe me, unless he is handcuffed and thrown into a 4x4 concrete cell without food, he will not starve himself. He will get tired. He will give up. And when he gets hungry enough, he will run to the nearest McDonald's and get a Big Mac. End of protest. Stop giving in. Stop being afraid. The true organizers, the true motivation behind these racial temper tantrums is the Democrat Party, is progressives, the politically correct police. And I know for a fact there are people on the scene, in these schools, on the job, in society, that are afraid to speak against it. They're afraid to be labeled. Be labeled. Stop being afraid. Because the truth is, in the United States of America now, every one of us has the same exact rights. There are no more black or white water fountains. There are no more black or white bathrooms. There aren't any more whites only swimming pools. It's long, long gone. And great men like Martin Luther King made that happen. Racism is gone. It's gone. It's over. It's nothing more than a tool now. No one is denied anything based on their race, their creed, their color, their gender, their sexual orientation. No one is denied anything. Gay marriage is legal in all 50 states now. Men walk down the street holding hands all over the country. No one is denied anything because they are black. And the fact is, black now is the new excuse by people that use it, not by all, but by people that use this race card to get more than they deserve, to curry special favors or special treatment, or to get someone fired they don't like. The race card now is like screaming fire in a movie theater. It gets an instant response by those that are afraid to be labeled and by those that are afraid to stick to their guns and the rules and the laws that are already in place that protect everyone. One only has to look at the list of demands put forth by these protesters at the University of Missouri, and they are racist on their face. I'll read a couple. We demand that the University of Missouri create and enforce comprehensive racial awareness, as if Americans weren't already aware of the different races, but throughout all campus, departments, and units, mandatory for all students, faculty, staff, and administration. This curriculum must be vetted, maintained, and overseen by a board comprised of students, staff, and faculty of color. I'll repeat that. This curriculum must be vetted, maintained, and overseen by a board comprised of students, staff, and faculty of color. They're demanding that it be vetted, maintained, and overseen by only black people. 5. We demand that the academic year 2017-2018, the University of Missouri, increase the percentage of black faculty and black staff campus-wide to 10%, just based on color of skin. That's racist on its face. That is the resurgence of affirmative action. It doesn't matter whether you can do the job or not. It doesn't matter if you're qualified. You get it if you're black. That's pure racism. If a white person said that, the school would go up in flames. This is our fault. The whole country. All of us. Giving in and kowtowing to racial bullying. This is reverse racism. This situation at the University of Missouri is clearly the race card covered with, I want it and I deserve it because I am black. And the longer the leaders and the administrators and the teachers and the professors, the governors, the mayors, the longer the leaders of this country give into it, the worse it will get. It will never stop. When a black student screams, white silence is violence, they may as well say, if you don't join me, you're against me. And that is nothing more than racial manipulation. And it has to be stopped. And the only way to stop it is to say, no. All of the laws prohibiting discrimination, they're already in place. There's literally nothing more we can do legally. But just because one moron, one still ignorant person with no morals or no judgment uses the N-word, that's no reason to bring down a whole school. The president of the University of Missouri failed. He should have let the football team strike. He should have let Jonathan Butler continue to go hungry. Even though, since his family is worth $20 million, I seriously doubt he would go hungry for long. But the president of the University of Missouri should have let these things happen. Let it continue. And he should have investigated the two complaints that they did have, for which they didn't really have any concrete proof. That was just an excuse. The way to disarm this is not to give in to it. Let them protest. Let them riot. Burning buildings and attacking police, and that's still against the law. So if that's the route they want to go, let them. Let them. But the more we cower in fear and give in to terroristic demands and threats, the worse it will get. And it won't stop. I asked a few days ago, if you are a student on any campus that is in fear of this kind of protesting and racial bullying, if you're afraid to speak out, contact me. I will air your grievances for you. I already have one email from a student in St. Louis. I already have one. And what he told me in that email is very enlightening. This kind of racial unrest on campuses, it's being fueled by staff. It's being organized by outside resources. And these kids on these campuses, black students, are being used like pawns. They may as well have strings attached to them. They're being influenced and manipulated by professors like Melissa Click, and God knows how many others. This is a social engineering agenda. This is cultural Marxism. And black students are being used like little foot soldiers, like little pawns. And they're falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. And the problem is, in the long run, they will suffer. Every student will suffer. This is why Lenin said 100 years ago, give me a child for 6 years and I'll give you a Bolshevik for life. You kids on these college campuses, you're being brainwashed. You're living in the greatest country in the world. You're free to do anything you want. The Constitution protects everyone in this country. The Bill of Rights, read it. Open your laptops and read the Bill of Rights. Because when you crush someone else's constitutional rights just to get your own way, ultimately you will suffer for that. The country will suffer for that. And all of the rights and freedoms that you enjoy, sooner or later, will disappear. Because you aided and assisted in an agenda that really wants to destroy the fundamental principles of the nation in which you live. 25 years from now, you may not have freedom of speech. You may not be able to defend yourself. And when that happens, it'll be too late. And you will look back on the progressive Democrat Marxist leaders that used you like a pawn to achieve an ultimate dictatorship. Because mark my words, and if you don't believe me, look throughout history. Anarchy always fails. It always fails. And if you are lucky, a benevolent leadership takes over and restores order. But more often than not, a tyrant steps in and forces order to the detriment of all concerned. Think about it. The freedoms that you take for granted now may not always be there. And regardless of your color, your race, your gender, there is not one human being within this country that is more important than any other person in this country. You have no more rights, you have no more privileges, and you deserve no more than the next guy, no matter who you are. Thank you. Comments, questions? Like I said, students at other campuses that are experiencing racial bullying and radical, revolutionary ideas contrary to the principles of this nation, please email me at fred4wethepeople@gmail.com. I already have one email, and it's very detailed and very enlightening. America, don't give in to the temper tantrum. Let them lay on the floor and hold their breath until they turn blue. Believe me, they will come up for air and see that the temper tantrum does not work.